It is said that there are two types of people in this world, those who were born great and those who achieve greatness. Cleopatra belongs to the former category. She was born great. But what made her even greater was the way she leveraged her strengths and weaknesses. This series explores the lives of such extraordinary individuals. Welcome to the series. The name Cleopatra means father's glory, and when she was born, it was indeed her father's glory. King Ptolemy XII of Egypt had good reason to celebrate. His daughter was not just any ordinary baby. She was born at a time when the Ptolemaic kingdom of Egypt was surrounded by enemies. Her birth gave him an heir and the hope of a flourishing future. He named his daughter Cleopatra Thea, which meant both of them were blessed by the gods. But he could not have guessed the kind of godsend his daughter would turn out to be. This is the story of Cleopatra, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic kingdom of Egypt. Part 1. The Prodigy. Cleopatra's father was a Macedonian Greek who ruled over Egypt after Alexander the Great. When Cleopatra was born, her father was already old and frail, so he designated his younger brother, Ptolemy XIII, as co-regent. As a result, from the time Cleopatra could walk and talk, she had two fathers, one to guide her and another to rule for her. She never got a mother's love, though. You see, her mother died when Cleopatra was just 2 years old. Cleopatra's childhood was spent in a luxurious palace, but it was not all fun and games. Her father ensured that his daughter received the best education available. She learned mathematics, science, medicine, philosophy, history, rhetoric, geography, and many languages. In fact, Cleopatra spoke 9 languages fluently, including Egyptian. She also learned how to read and write hieroglyphs. Besides academics, she was trained in the art of statecraft and diplomacy, which included learning the skills of seduction. Cleopatra was a very attractive woman. Historians describe her as having an enchanting voice, a magnetic personality, and unmatched charm. With her beauty and brains, she grew up to be quite a formidable leader. However, her father's choice of successor caused a rift between Cleopatra and her stepfather, Ptolemy XIII. He designated their eldest son, Ptolemy XIV, as the heir apparent, ignoring Cleopatra's claim. What happens next is a bit of a mystery, because there is some discrepancy in the accounts of historians. According to some, Cleopatra was forced into marriage with her brother, Ptolemy XIV. Others say she married her brother willingly. However, it seems that the marriage was not a happy one, because soon enough, Cleopatra decided to kill her husband, and she did so with style. The young queen invited her husband to dinner, served him poisoned mushrooms, and then took her own life by letting venomous snakes bite her. This incident is thought to have occurred around 51 BC. At the time, Cleopatra was only 18 or 19 years old. Now, this was no ordinary murder. It brought to an end the reign of Ptolemy XIII and established Cleopatra as the sole ruler of Egypt. Many believe that Cleopatra's thirst for power led her to kill her own husband. But if that was true, why did she marry him in the first place? Perhaps her father's choice of successor irked her. By marrying Ptolemy XIV, Cleopatra was sending a message to her father that she was the rightful heir to the throne. Killing her husband gave her the much-needed leverage against her father. Part 2. The Confrontation. Cleopatra ascended to the throne without any prior experience, and to make matters worse, she had a civil war on her hands. The kingdom was split into 2 factions. One supported Cleopatra, and the other her younger sister, Arsinoe IV. It is said that Cleopatra fled to Syria to seek refuge with her father. Some sources say she returned to Egypt after gathering support and defeated her sister's forces. But according to Roman historian Plutarch, it was her father who crushed the rebellion and restored order. He went on to designate Cleopatra's son Caesarion as the heir apparent, finally giving her the respect and recognition that she deserved. But within a few months her father too was dead. Cleopatra was now the most powerful woman in the world. She ruled over a kingdom that stretched from the Mediterranean Sea in the north to the Sudan in the south. Her wealth was immeasurable. Moreover, Cleopatra was a patron of arts and learning. Poets like Catullus, Horace, and Virgil were either born during her reign or were alive in her court. The famed mathematician and inventor Archimedes also lived in Alexandria during Cleopatra's reign. He had moved to the city from Athens after it was sacked by the Roman general Sulla. It was Cleopatra who sent her fleet to bring him back to Athens. She appointed him as the head of the Mouseion, which was a research institute in Alexandria. Under Cleopatra's patronage, Alexandria became the cultural capital of the known world. But her biggest strength was her diplomatic skills. While most rulers kept prostitutes and male lovers, Cleopatra had none of that. Her idea of romance was unique. She enjoyed intellectual discussions with men who she deemed worthy. One such man was Roman statesman and general Pompey the Great. When he visited Alexandria, Cleopatra sent him a basket full of coins instead of gold. Intrigued, Pompey opened the basket and found that the coins bore his effigy on one side and that of Cleopatra on the other. It was an ingenious way to express her desire to be his queen, but Pompey declined her proposal. He was already married and had little interest in adding another notch to his bedpost, so he rejected Cleopatra's advances and left. Soon enough, his rival Julius Caesar arrived in Alexandria. The general was entangled in a civil war and needed Cleopatra's support to win, but instead of offering him gold or troops, Cleopatra offered herself. She famously hid in a carpet and snuck into Caesar's chamber. Then she seduced him. The affair resulted in the birth of a son, Caesarion. But Caesar was not interested in ruling Egypt, so he named Cleopatra as the regent of her kingdom. However, he promised her complete support and protection. During Caesar's rule, Alexandria became the hub of trade and commerce. It was at this point that Cleopatra realized her status as Queen of the Nile was safe. Now she wanted to solidify it. And for that, she needed to expand her territories. In the south, she defeated the Queen of Ethiopia. In the east, she went to war with the King of Armenia. And in the west, she subjugated the kingdoms of the Arabian Peninsula. Her ambitions knew no bounds. She wanted to conquer the entire Mediterranean. But alas, it was not to be. Part 3. Legacy. After Caesar's assassination, Octavian, later known as Augustus, came to power in Rome. Like Caesar, Augustus too was entangled in civil wars. And once again, Cleopatra extended her support to help him gain control. In return, he granted her father's glory as the Roman emperor. However, Cleopatra had bigger plans. She wanted to be the Empress of Rome, too. To achieve that, she set her eyes on Mark Antony, who was one of Augustus's rivals. Antony was the triumvir of the eastern provinces, which included Egypt. Cleopatra lavished expensive gifts on him and his 3 children, showered them with gold, ivory, and precious gems. Antony declared her the Queen of the Nile. But Augustus was furious. He saw the relationship as a threat to his power and prestige. So he sent his adopted son, Octavian, to defeat Antony and Cleopatra. Their combined fleet met near the coast of Actium in September of 36 BC. Antony and Cleopatra lost the battle. As a result, Augustus entered Alexandria and deposed Cleopatra. The couple was given an option to leave the city alive or die and be paraded through the streets of Rome as captives. Cleopatra chose the former. She allowed Augustus to take her treasure and keep her fortune, and she was granted asylum in Rome along with her sisters and mother. It was only after ensuring the safety of her family that Cleopatra ended her own life. According to a popular account, she used an asp, a venomous snake native to Egypt, to kill herself. This is often depicted in movies and plays as the classic method of Cleopatra's suicide. But this account is disputed by historians. They say that the ancient sources are not reliable and that the story is nothing but a concoction of rumors. Cleopatra was just 39 years old when she died. She left behind a kingdom, a legacy, and a son. Upon her death, Augustus annexed Egypt and made it a province of Rome. He renamed it to Alexandria in honor of the defeated queen.